it's, if you register, so we don't want to have different numbers than your school has. I think the student data system should have those numbers.
In other words, I'm not telling the school that my child is going to this daycare that's outside of the school. So I'm just curious, is it all on data system?
All right, so again, so the daycare ones, in reverse, if we get your daycare that's changed, and it changes sometimes rapidly with some families, we put that into our system just as we get downloads for changes to schools and other items. The student database will be able to pull those numbers up.
So the school will know
they'll get
informational what you have on your system, so they don't maybe communicate inaccurately with the bus driver in terms of address, and they don't get it mixed up, because that could be one of the reasons that had happened.
It is, but I think what happens is, with some families, they're putting in all sorts of different numbers, and then we call them, and neither school nor us can get through. We want to try to get some responsibility on the parents to give us accurate phone numbers to get through, because it's very frustrating. I'm kind of leading
to that, because my second question is, you're talking about GPS and all this automation.
Yeah.
So kind of two parts on that. One, is the timeline something that we're going to see within the next school year, or is this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then two, if we're going automated, why would we have to manually keep writing things, and why couldn't we, as parents, have a system where we're able to live update on the system and everybody's on the same page, and also, you know, be able to somehow communicate, because why is dispatch being used when it's non-emergencies, tying up emergency, you know, immediately needing to get in touch with bus driver? In other words, why would I call dispatch, tie up her time, when I'm not looking for my kid? Why can't I just do it on some sort of automated system?
All right, so if you're going to be looking at the system, you would, because of your student's ID card, be able to go on and have a unique log-on. You would know where your student was.
Right, and that's going to save time.
That'll save that time.
Open up the lines more.
Right, for real emergencies.
Is that doable within the next school year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, we have to go through the process with the board and presentations and make sure that they see what we're doing and they have to have time to give the feedback. So, you know, we're just saying in generic terms, that's what we are. We're clearly bringing it forward.
Yeah. Because that's crucial, because the one thing that comes up in everything that's come up is communication. And if we can't communicate, the system breaks down.
Absolutely. I think Carrie and I are so strongly behind that communication has been all the problems that we've had so far, and be able to let everybody know really the problem we were up to and where we're going to correct it. So the GPS is what Jeff and I are pushing for is strongest. We need the buses, but I think before we even get there, if we can get that kind of communication out, that'll really, really help.
Right. I mean, a lot of parents, sorry to interrupt you again, but for the third time, but a lot of parents, for instance, I know there would have maybe been a couple of situations that, had I known there was an issue, I would have gotten in my car and gone and picked up my child.
Yes.
But no communication came to me, and so it escalated.
Yeah.
Okay, last question.
Oh, yeah.
So you mentioned equipment and lack of drivers being the whole source of all the problems we've been having this year. You mentioned that before the end of the year, you're going to be getting 12 to 15 new drivers that'll take you where you want to be.
Yeah, by January.
What I'm unclear is what is your vision of where you want to be? For our kids who are on the bus over an hour, missing all the interventions after school, what is your vision of an ideal situation of a child being transported to and from school?
All right, coming in, ideally, and what I'm putting into our system is no bus route over 45 minutes, but we have to be able to build in all those items. I still have to be able to, I don't think I can get from one end of the district, say Bay Point, all the way to Pleasant Hill Elementary, sometimes in 45 minutes. So we have to have some exceptions, but that's what our goal is. Where, again, rather than having no padding for students in what was done in the past, this is the bell time, that's when we're supposed to be there. Also, bringing the kids in 30 minutes or an hour before school, that's not what we want to do. I'm trying to get that changed. They're still saying, well, we can make this work right now. And I'm going, okay, well, short term, but when we get these all bid and everything's right, you're not sharing kids on buses. we're no longer than 45 minutes whenever possible. 15 minutes before school, we actually set it 20 minutes because I know that every family is going to have a day when there's a problem. So,
But
you
you
know,
have to
20
have-
minutes, that'll get us closer to 15, because in some districts, and still in our district, there are some students that depend on breakfast in the morning. We want to make sure, I've always had to do that, to make sure students have time to not be rushed at breakfast. So we get the kids there early. The schools are only really staffed for approximately 15 minutes before school.
That was my
So we have to
point.
meet that expectation. There was the old urban legend that we could drop kids off anytime and the school would take care of them. That's incorrect, and so I have to, it's not, and we have so many wonderful drivers, but they believe that's the district policy. We have to change that, and that's part of our training that we're presenting for them. So we're gonna move on that. Again, not leaving students behind, so we can do that. Student lists, that's something they never had before. So comprehensive student lists. Schools with those lists and being able to know who's supposed to be on what bus and whatever. So we need to get that information out, and just one heck of a lot better communication to families when we've got delays. And when we can do that, I think that should help. All right, so if we can collect the
Yeah,
cards.
just pass the cards up. I wanted to say that, I'm glad you said that last thing, because when I was moving schools the past couple of weeks, especially the first couple of days, that school sites didn't have the lists of what buses these kids were to go on when school's out. And when the kids get to school, because we don't know what kids are absent, we don't know if there's another bus coming in for that kid, the
Right.
kid that didn't
Right.
come off of bus A or bus B. So we have assistants sitting out there waiting, thinking this kid's gonna come in any minute now, because there's no list of what vehicle the child's supposed to be on. So I hope when you do change the, change the routes in 2 weeks, that is something that the schools will have ahead of time, not just the public, but the non-public schools.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very important, because a lot of these people, a lot of these assistants have other jobs to go to after school.
Absolutely.
And
I was
it's
observing
important that we-
Pine Hall yesterday, and, you know, we're able to come up with some
We have
strategies to
children
make that
left.
better, yeah.
And when we have kids going to their non-home schools, it can take a parent such as me a half an hour to get to my kid's school when he or she's not picked up. And I have other kids that have to be picked up too, and I'm sure that a lot of people have that issue. Also, I know it's a union thing, but we need to changing the bus drivers after school starts. I don't know how we need to change it, but we have kids that when they meet the bus driver on day one, they expect this bus driver. And when that changes, their world turns upside down. And then we have kids not getting on the bus, having behavior problems. The new bus drivers not understanding, well, hey, it's just me. We have great bus drivers. I agree with you 110%. Really, I haven't met a bad bus driver in the past 10 years. But we do have kids that don't do well with change, and I think that's our biggest, one of our biggest problems, other than getting the kids to and from school at a good time, is understanding these aren't just everyday kids. And changing, and continuously changing these routes, so then we're going into number 3 changes. We're changing for the third time in 2 months, less than 2 months.
1 month.
Well, yeah. So,
And they're the only ones on the bus.
This is a
There's no other adults on there.
It's a
And
big issue.
that can delay your bus there because the kids have a behavioral issue just getting on the bus.
That's what I'm saying. I have that issue, but we're not supposed to talk about personal.
They sort of start
But I'm
this
just saying
bus
that this is-
driver-student relationship, and it just makes it so much smoother to continue on.
Yeah, no, it is, it's true. So we need to figure out how we can get, I know it's a union, so I'm just saying, we need to put that out there. And, I think that's important. If we can just have the same bus drivers throughout the year from start to finish, doing your seniority before school starts, I don't know. But
Okay,
that's
so I hear what you're saying
something-
on that. I worked in the majority of the districts, yeah, it's always done before the start of the school year.
It makes
But
no
the
sense.
second district where they do it, and I think that it changed a lot of times because for the special program students is the reason why they do it. Because so many children, okay, let's be frank.
Well, we know they want
Frank,
the hours. I mean, it's
We're
all about
working to
hours.
make that change, but in most school districts across the country, the staff that's helping make some of those decisions for your students aren't here earlier in the summer.